taste that I have. Okay, so let's start this. So over the course of 2 weeks, I watched 18 movies that I had never seen before. The first week, I watched 14 of them. The second week, I watched 4. Because by the time the first weekend rolled around, I had been watching 3 movies a day every day since Tuesday, and it was a lot. Oh my gosh, Can't Find Bombs, thank you so much for the gift sub to the Coolie. Welcome in, Coolie, and enjoy the emotes. Jam Eviler, Mr. Jam himself, what's up, dude? Happy Monday Day. Okay, so it's gonna be rough. That I don't like fun. Okay, so that's gonna be the first point that we're gonna make here. So it's 14 movies in the first, so Tuesday through Saturday, I think. And then 4 movies at the beginning of the second week, and then I just gave up. And then I watched Forrest Gump on Saturday night and cried like a small child for a long time. I was, like, ask Carl, I was sobbing. My eyes were bloodshot, bright red. I had never seen Forrest Gump as an adult, and it destroyed me. I was trying to fall asleep and sobbing at the same time because I just kept thinking of it. It really got me. But I had seen Forrest Gump, so that's not going to be one of the movies that we're going to talk about today. So, I decided to make a list of movies that I'd never seen before, and there were about 100 on the list. And so it was partially, these movies are completely arbitrary. They are just ones that over the course of my life I'd never actually watched, and they were ones that had been recommended at some point, or that I figured you sort of like check off a box of like, oh, okay, I've seen that movie. I don't care about it too much, but like I've seen it. A great list of movies for anyone with seasonal depression. Hey, there you go. So I started, I'm not going to do these in chronological order. What I've done is that I've ranked them on a scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being, this is god-awful, no one should watch this, this is a bad movie, to 10 being, I find no fault with this film, this is cinema. This is the epitome, the paragon of cinema. 1 movie got a 10 out of 10. And don't spoil it if you're in the Discord. Don't spoil it. 1 movie got a 10 out of 10, and 1 movie got a 1.5 out of 10, which is where we're going to start today. I don't have the release years for these movies, so let's just click on to the first film, that the bottom of the barrel, there is no excuse to watch this movie. And the reason that it got such a low rating, it's not Schindler's List. What Dreams May Come. No, I can sidebar on that, but no. So the worst movie that I watched out of 18 of them, by far, like significantly, this was the worst movie, was Gremlins. It was horrible. Were there redeeming qualities to this film? No, just Gremlins. I'm trying to think of, why did I give this a 1.5 and not just a 1? Yes. It was technically a film. I think that counted. And I really don't know. I really don't know what else. There was a dog in it. That was the only... Listen. Someone needed to go up to Steven Spielberg while this was being created and slap him upside the head a few times and say, this is a bad product. Do not release this. It was terrible. It was awful. I don't know what else to tell you. The plot was horrible. It was incredibly xenophobic. Like, to the point where, okay, I get that it was the 80s, but this was still, like, terrible. Gizmo may have been the one redeeming quality, but even Gizmo was like, you can't redeem this enough to make this movie likable. Gremlins, 1.5 out of 10. Nothing more. Life is Beautiful. I will always watch a cry movie. I will fight you because it's wrong. Gremlins 1 sucked. It sucked a whole lot. A product of its time. Well, its time was bad movies and xenophobia. I liked this movie more before I saw it because all that I learned nothing from this film at all. All I knew going into it was like, don't feed him after midnight and don't get him wet. That was it. I could have done, I liked the concept of this movie more than I liked the movie. It was terrible, guys. This was a bad movie. Next up, I know I should have put years here. Unless I'm terribly mistaken, all of the ones that I watched were the originals. This is the Arnold Schwarzenegger 1990 Total Recall. And this movie was not good. It was not good. It was like, I like camp. But this, like, I wrote this in my notes. Whoever was the intended audience for this movie, I was not part of it. I was not the target demographic here. It was very bad. Not Gremlins bad, but it was just not good. Yeah, his character sucks. He's just like, the plot is accounting for so good. It's a little... No, because I like cult movies. Sign me up for Rocky Horror or The Room. Like, absolutely, I love campiness. I love cult classics, but like, this was not a good film. It was only a vehicle for one line. Okay, so this might have actually gotten a 3 out of 10 because of the line, "Hey, Benny, screw you," while he's drilling into the thing at the end. Like, this is the female mutant. We had a theme of threes. Exactly. Guys, it was so freaking bad. Total Recall, 3 out of 10. After these two, I don't remember how this list goes, so let's move on. Caddyshack. Dude, Caddyshack was not a good movie. Chevy Chase is a huge racist. Don't want to give him the time of day to begin with. The groundhog was stupid, or the gopher, or whatever it was. Was it Bill Murray? Was he the dude? What's up, citizen? We're yelling about movies here. One of those, I have a pass because it was so bad. Okay, that's fair. And you know what? Again, this is all subjective, but I'm right. So what are you gonna do? Okay, so it's Bill Murray. The plot was not very interesting. I did have... Oh, he improv most of his lines. Yeah, I could see that. Chevy Chase is an awful person. So Caddyshack. Rodney Dangerfield, definitely the highlight of this movie. Absolutely, without a doubt, the redeeming factor of this movie. Yeah, it's this golf. Also, I don't care about golf, which is really tough when you're watching a movie called Caddyshack. I don't care about golf. If you stack this up against like Airplane, no contest at all. Airplane would knock it out of the park. A compilation of, but they try and they don't do it well. Yeah, okay, so he's funny in Community, but I don't think that what's his name? Pierce is very far off from like Chevy Chase's true nature. Also, he left the show or was kicked off of the show because he was awful to the cast members. Okay, so if he worked for a country club, again, so like everyone's gonna have a different experience with this. I just did not care about this. Field 1, happy Monday. We're yelling about movies. So Caddyshack, Rodney Dangerfield was the saving grace in this. Kung Fu Hustle. Okay. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with the screen, but just pretend I know what I'm doing. Kung Fu Hustle was... Okay, like the landlady was amazing. She was amazing. I don't think this was a bad movie, but I didn't enjoy this movie as much as I think I would have in a group. If you watched this movie with a group of people, I know it's like the Chrono Trigger in the background. If you watch Kung Fu Hustle in a group of people, like a group of friends, and you all had like PBRs and you're just like having a day where you're like, I'm not doing anything today, let's watch Kung Fu Hustle. Absolutely great movie. But I didn't enjoy it on its own. I didn't care about anything that was going on. And like, I like a good Kung Fu movie. This was like, it's very dated. It's very 2004. Listen, we've all had our PBR moments. I think that it just was very dated and it wasn't funny. Kung Pao Enter the Fist is so good. No, Kung Pao Enter the Fist is fantastic. That compared to Kung Fu Hustle, I think I was expecting that and got Kung Fu Hustle and just wasn't. I didn't see Shaolin Soccer. So Kung Fu Hustle, 4 out of 10. Caddyshack, 4 out of 10. Total Recall, 3 out of 10. Gremlins, 1.5 out of 10. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I think this probably could have gotten a 4.5 out of 10, but it gets a 4 because it just read to me like the diary of someone who wanted to be very interesting. And also there were a lot of drugs. there were a lot of drugs in this. I just didn't care. You know what? Tell Gary about my scale. I don't care. It has to be the right role for Johnny Depp, and I just didn't care. I don't like the Johnny Depp vanity show. It's just not my thing. Yeah, he's very special, and he's just doing his own thing. And like, again, I did talk to my coworker about this today, and she said the book was better, so maybe I'll read the book at some point. The full numbers, seriously, we're getting 0.5s, we're getting 10s. I don't even care. It's very hard to follow, for sure. And like, I was really surprised because it's like, this does not seem like a movie that is accessible to a lot of people. So it was okay, but I'd never seen it before, and it was okay. Contact. Okay. I don't know why that keeps flashing. I'm sorry. I think it's because every time I click out of the browser, it gets all messed up. Contact. Okay, I have lots of opinions on this too, obviously. I didn't think Contact was bad, but I hated Matthew McConaughey's character so much. Also, I thought that they really it was all build up and then like this very small interaction at the end, and then it's just like question mark, and then it's James Woods. Hey Jake, what's going on? Hey Sabera, welcome to Monday. I guess, but like Matthew McConaughey's character dragged this movie down so much, and I love Carl Sagan. I get it. I've never seen Signs. I don't think I've seen Signs. Maybe I did. I don't remember. It was completely unmemorable, and it wasn't during this this stint. I didn't hate it, but he was unbearable. He made it really, I had to suffer through it because of him. Like, I paused it. Usually if I'm not interested in a movie, I will find myself pausing it repeatedly and then finally try to drag myself out of it. And I was doing that with Contact a lot. So, okay, but every male character in it was reprehensible except for, I think Kent is his name, like the friend scientist that she like goes off to study with independently. He's like the only one who isn't a complete piece of garbage. Signs is, yeah, I should probably watch it again. I've never seen, what's the other one? No, what am I thinking of? The Sixth Sense? I've never seen that either. Yeah. I love the like division in here. It's very good. A movie about humans. I don't know how if I think about it that way, I mean, that's kind of how you do think about it. Like they do that. I don't know. Yeah, I've never seen Sixth Sense. If it's anything horror adjacent, I've probably never seen it, with like 4 exceptions maybe. Do I know it is a movie? I feel like that's about all I got. Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, okay, so I'll add it to the list as well. Is Phenomenon the one with, what's his face? John Travolta. I'm not going to Google anything. Oh, that's another thing. I so wish that I'd gone into this having written a synopsis of what I think the movie is about compared to what it's actually about, because that's going to come up in a few items. It's really good. I hate spoilers, no matter how old they are, and I wanted zero expectations. I've not seen Steel Magnolias. Yeah, it would have been fun. I should have done like a side-by-side comparison, but next time, I don't know, when the spirit strikes me to friggin' watch 18 movies again. Next up, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I get it. Yeah, it was 18 movies in 2 weeks, so I watched 14 the first movie, the first week, and then 4 the second week. That's really cute. So, I know that this was like Jack Nicholson's breakout, or it was something very close to it. It was not the full range of what I thought he could do. The Shining was, for him, it was just so much better. I rated a lot. It's half and half. We could talk about Paul Blart Mall Cop, but trust me, Jake, you're in good hands. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I didn't love One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but I thought it was good. I understood its importance to cinema, but wasn't terribly overwhelmed with it. You're gonna hate it. You're really gonna hate it, Tom. You're gonna hate it. What I have is a 10 out of 10. And I don't care, because you guys are gonna have to deal with it, but no spoilers if you're in the Discord. Next up, Natural Born Killers. This, if you haven't heard of it or seen it, is an Oliver Stone film. It stars Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis. It is not. I have seen The Truman Show, really loved it, but it's been years, but I have seen it. Natural Born Killers is apparently it's like the 6th most controversial or 8th most controversial movie that's ever been created. And it was really interesting. That's fine. We can disagree. Yeah, I do not know how to feel about Woody Harrelson, so I was all over the place with this, because I had no idea that the Australian TV host was Robert Downey Jr. I love Robert Downey Jr. and he's incredible and versatile, and it's excellent. This movie was really tough to watch, also because after Caddyshack, I had a really hard time seeing Rodney Dangerfield as an abusive father. This was just tough. This was a hard one to watch, and I had to pause it a lot, but I thought it was really well done for like what it was. Not like amazing, but as far as cinematography is concerned, I thought this one really did well. So Natural Born Killers, 6 out of 10. It's like, does it hit 60% of the marks? Yeah, I think pretty easily. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I still feel pretty confident in this scale. I did think about these a lot, so it could always change. It just depends on how I feel one way or another. What's up, EXO? Zombieland was pretty good, but again, Woody Harrelson, best role by far was True Detective season 1. So like, it's just, there's no contest there. Which isn't a movie, but what are you gonna do? Okay, this is where things start to get weird. Rambo. Guys, this is where I wish that I had written a summary of what I knew about the movie before I watched it. If you guys haven't seen Rambo, first off, I want to let you know that I, until this week or last week, could not tell you. Oh, like I said, if it's on here, it's probably the first and the original. So this is Rambo, the OG with Sylvester Stallone. I could not have told you the difference between Sylvester Stallone, Robert De Niro, and Al Pacino. They are qualitatively identical as far as I was concerned prior to, again, about a week ago. the ratings are terrible. That's okay. We can disagree. But again, I'm correct. So there you go. So if you had asked me 2 weeks ago, what's Rambo about? I would have said something like, it's about one of those three men and there are guns and Vietnam. Something about Vietnam. Like, whatever. I don't remember who said it, but someone said correctly that all that I knew about Rambo was what I knew from UHF. Like Weird Al's UHF. Yeah, exactly. So that was pretty much exactly what it was. What they don't tell you about Rambo is that this takes place in the continental United States in like a rural town in the Midwest or the Northwest or something like that. Where's the good movie list? No, we're getting there. I love UHF. I watched it twice last summer, like within like a 2-month period. I think I watched UHF twice. John Rambo speaks about 3 times total in 3 different scenes. And it, absolutely right. It is a huge, powerful commentary on the issues with unresolved PTSD. And this movie would have had a lower rating if not for the scene in the gun shop at the end of this movie, which was so powerful. I don't want to ruin it for you if you haven't seen it, but this is me telling you Rambo is worth it. Watch this movie. It's very good. It's, it's a movie. It's bloody, so like just, that's not your thing, it's fine. But it's really good. It's much better than I thought it was going to be. In a very similar, so this is, hey Drew, this is Rambo, I guess it's First Blood, technically. I don't know how that's, I think it is First Blood, but it's the one from like the 70s, or whenever it came out. So, we've got 5-letter movie names that start with R, starring Sylvester Stallone. Let's move on to Rocky. Also, a 7.5 out of 10. And do you know what this tells me? This tells me that Sylvester Stallone did okay with movies. Like, I'd never seen Rocky before. This was another one where I had no idea what it was about. I had no context for this. And I just... Okay, Usurper. We had some times about the Gremlins. It was a terrible movie. Also, what's up? I didn't know what Rocky was about at all. I knew it was about a guy who ran up the steps in Philadelphia. Gosh, it was so good. It was so good. I really loved it. And, I loved his romance with Adrian. And also, I didn't... what was I going to say? Like being, living in Philly, like it's got that sort of thing to it. So I get it. It was like, oh, the street signs still look like that. And, oh yeah, this is probably a nasty grocery store now. I have no interest in watching anything beyond this version of Rambo or this version of Rocky. I just don't care. So, yeah, it was good. I don't ever need to watch it again. Yeah. Philly's best meat tenderizer. I don't think Ted Danson played Rocky. I don't think that's true. So, Rocky, 7.5 out of 10. Okay, guys. So this is where things really start to get interesting, in my opinion, because these were the movies that were truly excellent. I can't remember which. Is Whiplash the movie? Is that where J.K. Simmons plays the drum instructor at college or something like that? I don't remember if I watched that. Adrian's Revenge. That sounds terrible. Terrible. So far, Rocky 7.5 out of 10, Rambo 7.5 out of 10, Natural Born Killers 6 out of 10, and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest 5.5 out of 10. Sorry. Was it J.K. Simmons? No, that's his name, right? I don't know what I said. That's fine. Okay. So, Rocky, pretty good. Okay, this is where you guys are gonna start to get really upset because I thought Goodfellas was pretty good. 8 out of 10. Does it hit 80% of the marks? Sure. Great mafia movie. Very quotable. Joe Pesci, love him. Gets a little repetitive. I did have a coworker remark to me today that these are very like male-centric movies, so I don't know if that meant that they were typically geared toward a male demographic or like a male audience. Yeah, that's very quotable. So, but like I do like mafia movies. What is going on? This little flute. Okay. This is a very weird song to be talking about Goodfellas, but I didn't think that it was, you know, the best. It wasn't the best mafia movie I watched this week. Joe Pesci and Joe, no, what? Goodfellas is better than Godfather 2. Okay, I haven't seen Godfather 2. Oh, we will get to the Godfather though. It was good. The Henry Hill, I think his name was, really annoyed me, though. I also am, like, I think that this movie probably set a lot of tones moving forward. It set a lot of tropes and stuff like that. But I was really kind of tired of the, like, mafia man gets rich and then he has a wife who's faithful to him, but he also has a girlfriend on the side, blah, and then it's just she gets mad because the only role I have in your life is to be your wife. Maybe that's just me being frustrated with the way that things are or were forever. But that was just, I liked it, but there were some parts of it that really took me back. Also, Robert De Niro was amazing in that movie. He was very, very good. Because of the implication. Good. So Goodfellas, 8 out of 10. Pretty darn good. Again, I feel like I'm setting up very difficult or delicate scaffolding here. Raising Arizona with Nicolas Cage, directed by, I think, the Coen, or directed by one of the Coens and produced by the other. Man, I love this movie. This was really good. This tickled my heart in a lot of ways, and I really would not have given it a second thought prior to this past, or you know, when I watched it. But oh my gosh, it was really good. I would recommend this to anyone who's looking for a silly, sort of tongue-in-cheek, I don't know, romp. Cocktail, Point Break, Under Siege. I've never heard of any of those. Maybe Point Break. I don't know how to describe Raising Arizona other than, you know, it's a Coen Brothers film. Yeah, and it's Nicolas Cage just doing good work. So I love a good Nicolas Cage film. I love a bad Nicolas Cage film. So what are you gonna do? Raising Arizona, 8.5 out of 10. I don't know what that is or means. Are you guys ready to get mad? Yeah, there's a baby. There's a baby in the movie. The Godfather. The original Godfather. 8.5 out of 10. This movie is like 3.5 hours long. That's not a deterrent. My favorite movie is Lawrence of Arabia, which is like 1,000,000 years long. And exactly. So The Godfather, it's because it didn't get as high of a rating as some of the other movies that got a higher rating. I promise you people are going to be like, why are you like this? It was so well done, and it surprised me. This movie is 50 years old, and it surprised me, which was really great. The part where Michael is in Italy, or is in Sicily, and his fiance gets car bombed. really, I did not expect that. It was just really good. I didn't know Al Pacino was in that movie. I had no idea. But he was great. Marlon Brando, I don't need to say anymore. You're well past that point. I know. For you, it started at, I think you'd probably put these in opposite order. No, but it was really, really good. Probably deserves a 9 out of 10 if we're being honest. Ted Danson was not the main guy in The Godfather. That is a lie. That is a bald-faced lie. Yeah, I mean, like, again, I don't know if I could pick out Al Pacino from Sylvester Stallone in a lineup. But what are you gonna do? So The Godfather, 8.5 out of 10. Okay. Schindler's List. These are top quality movies. These are the movies I would recommend to everyone. Maybe everyone asterisk. I will never watch this movie again. It was very, very, very difficult. I had no idea Liam Neeson was in it. And it absolutely was worth the watch. I had never seen it before. I really liked it. Yeah, I want to get to Schindler's, but really though, it didn't make me cry as much as Forrest Gump. But no, it was so good. The order I watched these in, I have the dates written down so I can report that back on my Discord. I think I watched, well, I'll get to it. So Schindler's List, 9 out of 10. If you haven't watched it, probably worth it for once in your life, and then that's heavy enough. Man, it was just really good. It was such a beautiful, nuanced film. Something that I would have been proud of to make if I had been part of it. So next up, the Hudsucker Proxy. If you haven't heard of this movie, that's okay, because I had not heard of this movie before, not very long ago at all. I've never seen Conspiracy. The Hudsucker Proxy. This is a movie with Tim Robbins and Jennifer Jason Leigh, and it came out in the 90s, 94, 3, 5, something like that. I didn't know it was also the Coen brothers. This movie is about a man played by Tim Robbins who starts off in the mailroom of a corporation in this sort of like absurd skyscraper filled city. It might be New York. I don't even know. I think it's New York. This was really cemented Tim Robbins' place in the annals of history for me, of film history. So he gets elevated, and there's this board that's running the company after the former president dies. And they say, let's promote this guy to president so he can basically be a puppet and we can control him. Jennifer Jason Leigh at the same time plays this absolutely bombshell, like 1940s, 1950s reporter, and she is wonderful. She is so amazing in it. It's worth it for her performance alone. And so it's this really, it's just a really enjoyable movie, for kids. So if you haven't seen the Hudsucker Proxy, I don't know what it's rated, but it's definitely, it's definitely worth a watch. I really loved it. So I think we've got 3 more, right? PG, get out there. Watch this movie. Go. Stop watching this stream and go watch this movie. Okay. My top 3. So Schindler's List, 9 out of 10. Hudsucker Proxy, 9 out of 10. I'm getting nervous. Okay. Next up. I know that this is a controversial pick. Snowpiercer, directed by Bong Joon-ho, in 2017, I think. I loved this movie. I could not find anything that I disliked about this movie. I loved it. I loved it. And I love Bong Joon-ho. If you haven't seen Parasite, go watch Parasite. It was so well done. Chris Evans, I think that's who the main guy was, is just fantastic. And then Ed Harris, also fantastic. Oh man, that it was so dark, but so wistful. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. I don't know what else to tell you. I loved it. I would give it another try. And it's not for everyone. Like, I think I need a big disclaimer on this that says these aren't for everyone. But man, I love this movie. I was like texting with my mom about this too. I was like, "Whoa, I just watched Snowpiercer. It was so good." Yeah, it's rough. It's rough to watch. This is a tough one. I love Get Out, work of art, immediately following one another. That cracks me up. I really had to, I don't even, like, this was a 9.5 out of 10. This is an excellent movie. All right, so let's digest that for a second. Dude, I don't care if it's a classic, it sucks. Gremlins was awful. It was a bad movie. I said at the beginning when I started this, I liked the movie more before I watched it because I just knew the concept of it. Oh, Solid Wife! I was watching Hannibal like yesterday. I just started it, and so I think I'm on episode 6 maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have nostalgia glasses, and it was really bad. But like, okay, so I also love movies that other people say are like critically very bad. So, again, this is Kelly's opinion, but I'm right. So Snowpiercer, 9.5 out of 10, very highly recommend. Paul Blart is not on this list. This is just the list of movies that I watched in the last 2 weeks that I had never seen before. So these are like fresh hot takes right off the griddle. Paul Blart, first off, Usurper, how dare you? We can talk about Paul Blart later. Surprising exactly no one. Shawshank Redemption, 9.5 out of 10. What can you say? This was a great movie. This was excellent. It had Tim Robbins, and I watched this one first before the Hudsucker Proxy. So Tim Robbins, fantastic. Morgan Freeman, everything about this was so good. It was so good. It was one of the best stories I've ever seen in film, and I think that's really meaningful too. The scales out of 10 Paul Blarts. You guys are gonna get so mad about what's number 1 because it's not this, and no spoilers if you're in the Discord. You guys have been really great about that so far. Shawshank Redemption, yeah, this easily top 10 movie for me. Probably top 5 if I'm thinking critically rather than emotionally, but like, man, it was so good. I just, like, the thing that I remarked on this the most was, like, the story was so good. Like, and I know it's Stephen King, so that's probably part of it. I really like Stephen King. But it just had the perfect blend of, like, I really think it had the perfect blend of despair and hope. And I know that sounds really dramatic, but it is. It is very dramatic. It's got this contrast, this juxtaposition of things that are incredibly upsetting and also terribly optimistic. Paul Blart 2, 11 out of 10. It is not an Adam Sandler movie. It's not. I'm so excited for number 1, though. Okay. Jake, we're going to get you like a whole list of movies, and I'm going to you just take a week and just watch them. Yeah, exactly. The character relationship between them is so good. It's, of course this happens. And he does it, like, the respect is just, it's just there. It's not because one of them postures. It's just because they are exactly who they are as their characters, and they interact with one another, and that forms this impenetrable relationship. I just think it's excellent. It's natural. Exactly. That's so true. Shawshank Redemption is a fantastic movie. And if you haven't seen it, believe me when I say that the hype around it is justified, because it's so good. So, you guys ready? I should have done a separate slide for this because I'm so pumped. Okay. So, what do we have so far? Gremlins, 1.5 out of 10. Total Recall, 3 out of 10. Caddyshack, 4. Kung Fu Hustle, 4. Fear and Loathing, 4. Bleh. Contact, 5. One Flew Over, 5.5. Natural Born Killers, 6. Rambo, 7.5. Rocky, 7.5. Goodfellas, 8 out of 10. Raising Arizona, 8.5. The Godfather, 8.5. And then Schindler's List, 9. Hudsucker Proxy, 9 out of 10. Snowpiercer, 9.5 out of 10. And Shawshank Redemption, 9.5 out of 10. What is Kelly saying is better than all of these movies? I'm now starting to regret all of my decisions. Okay. Just gonna let that one marinate for a second. Okay. I will wear the crab hat imminently. Okay. Karate Kid, guys.
No.
I have only seen, and again, I don't need to let you know, but I've only seen the original with Ralph Macchio and Pat Morita. And I know that you guys are saying, how is this better than Shawshank? How is this better than The Godfather or Schindler's or whatever, or Goodfellas? There were I loved everything about this movie. It's this cinematography. Okay, let's go. Cinematography. First off, they move from New Jersey to California, and they get to California. They've got all, they get the road trip the whole way. They've got the sweeping hill. No, I'm talking about the original Karate Kid, in the 80s. I'd never seen it before. You cannot talk about the cinematography of the Karate Kid without talking about the soundtrack of the Karate Kid. I had seen so many movies at this point before I watched the Karate Kid that I was used to music just being placed in movies, and it just didn't work. It like felt forced, or it just, like if they're using any music that isn't original music, it just felt like it was there because it was convenient. This movie the soundtrack was made with intention. And you can tell that from the very beginning, from the very first part where they're driving across the country, that the movie was chosen deliberately, or the music was chosen deliberately. I did not, if you know me or have known me for more than like 5 years, you know how much I hate child actors in like a signature way. I hate child actors. I cannot stand them. I didn't hate Ralph Macchio. That is an accomplishment. He was so good. He was so good. And he wasn't even like great. I have not seen E.T. I could talk about E.T. at a separate time. I had intended to. I did see the Goonies. It was pretty good. So the characters in the Karate Kid were likable. Elizabeth Shue plays what's-her-face, and she was great. Okay, Pat Morita, let's go. So, yeah, exactly. He's just a kid. He's just a kid doing dumb things. He was 22. Okay, but he looked like a child. He looked like a small baby man. Pat Morita is already excellent. Their friendship is excellent. But then the real turning point for this movie was the backstory for Mr. Miyagi's character, because we're already here. What's up to you, Matt? We're already like in the movie and there's a plot already and you already love Mr. Miyagi, and then he's drunk and laughing and you learn about his wife and the internment camp and his unborn son, and that got me. I cried at that scene. Like that was what got me at this movie, because they did not have to do that. They could have made a good movie without including all of that, because it still would have been enjoyable. It still would have been this redemption arc of this kid who stands up to his bullies through peace and through mastery, and it would have been still that good. But they humanized this man who had gone through this really traumatic experience, like deeply traumatic experience, life-changing. Exactly. They could have done just USA, like we're the underdog, we're gonna come back. But that is why it gets a 10 out of 10, because it's got this story. It's got the story of Daniel learning karate and just being a little lanky dude and getting bullied, and and so like I even didn't hate the relationship or whatever between Allie and Daniel. Like I didn't hate that. I thought that was great and cute, and they both had like, maybe it's a little unbelievable for kids to have that much confidence or whatever, but like they just went for it, and like I just really liked his character. But I have not seen Karate Kid 2, and I probably should. So I watched so many miserable movies. The one that was heartwarming. I mean, kind of. But yeah, the scene where you learn about Mr. Miyagi's backstory was so moving and so excellent. The soundtrack being so perfect. The film itself it's like heartwarming, but still like there's still suffering. And I think that anything that does that in such a well-rounded way really deserves accolades. So for that reason, because it moved me so much, Karate Kid, 10 out of 10. Oh my god. I don't really want to watch Cobra Kai. I just thought they were terrible. Oh man, Forrest Gump like turned me inside out and wrung me out and then put me in the dryer again. That was awful. I mean, it was so good. Dude, Forrest Gump as an adult is freaking rough. Lots of things hit you that didn't hit you before. Okay, you teared up. I bawled. It was bad. That was a great movie. I loved it as a kid, loved it as an adult. But man, it is tough. So, The Golden Child. I'm not even sure what that is, but I will check it out. If you want to, you can throw something in the Discord too. Like I said, if you guys are in the Discord already, you can throw suggestions in the TV and movies list so that I can remember. Goodfellas is an 8 because it was okay. Like it was pretty good. I have not seen Fried Green Tomatoes. I think my mom likes that movie, which is probably where I've heard of it before. Big Trouble in Little China was great. I really liked that too, with what's his face? Is that Kurt Russell? Yeah, I definitely I will always watch movies that make me cry, but I will tell you the saddest movie I've ever seen, if you guys have ever watched it, is Dear Zachary. Yeah, no, the ugly crying was I was saying this earlier. I got off of the call, went into the bathroom, and my eyes were bloodshot, like completely red. I woke up the next morning, my whole like face was puffy. It was terrible. Okay, I'll watch Fried Green Tomatoes then. No. It was rough. Okay. So that's my movie list. Feel free to leave your incorrect feedback. But this was very good. I had a great time. It was very enjoyable PTO. It was boring in some ways. Like I can't really do anything. But it was good. I would love to do more movie reviews. I think this is really, especially because again, I have terrible taste. Like you guys don't have to agree with any of this. Gremlins, though, objectively a terrible movie. Yeah, but it was fun. Lots of references that I did not get as a child. So I am going to Contact out of 5 out of 10. Oh, I haven't seen The Iron Giant, but that was also on my list. I meant to. A challenge for me. Okay. Small Soldiers. Is that the one where they have the little green army men? And it's got... I remember seeing an ad for that on some VHS that I watched way too many times. I'm not going to watch Iron Giant tonight. I have to play Zelda. Total Recall was so bad. It wasn't Gremlins bad, but it was so bad. Yeah, Z1. So I'm going to do a quick bathroom break, and then I will be back with Zelda. So I will see you guys soon.